In this lecture, we're going to try and sift through the different ways we showed to register your C++ type for use in Qt. These are the different ways we saw so far. You can say QML register type and pass in all the information. QML register uncreatable types allows you to register types you cannot instantiate in QML, but QML register type without parameters inside also registers a type you cannot instantiate in QML. We're going to try and talk about the differences between these two. The first type we saw is this one, and it is probably the easiest one to understand. You use it to register a type that you intend to instantiate in QML. For example, here we are registering a person type, and we want to create person types in QML like this. This is easy to understand. The second one we saw is to register an uncreatable type. The obvious thing about this type is that if you try to create an instance of it in QML, it is going to fail and show you an error message that you specified in the last parameter here. So this is cool if you need this kind of things. This is usually used for enums and attached properties in QML. Now comes the confusing one. This also is used to register types you don't intend to instantiate in QML. The documentation says that instances of this type cannot be created from the QML system. This function should be used when the type will not be referenced by name. You don't intend to access the name of this type in QML. Specifically, it has to be used for C++ types that are used as left-hand side of a property binding. And there is a better example for this in the documentation. That's why I left this hint here. So we're going to go there and look at it. So here we are in Qt Creator. We are going to go to the Help tab and type in QML register type and see what we get. It is going to take us here to the method we want immediately. This is what we saw. You see, they have an example here. We have a class called bar, which comes and ends down here. Inside, we have a toString that is called mbaz. We have a full class that contains an object of bar. In QML, we can assign to baz like this. You see, they say bar, baz, and they assign something like this. You don't need to access the name of bar, really. All you need to know is that this type exists, and you register it like this by not passing in any parameter because it doesn't need a name to be accessed in QML. It is accessed through another class. I hope this makes sense. And this is one case where you might need to use this. But in many projects that I have seen this type of registering and register uncreatable type used interchangeably, and you have to choose whatever you feel works better for you. This is all for our review of QML register type and its different overrides that you can use to register your C++ types for use in Qt. In the next lecture, we're going to wrap up the chapter and review some of the most interesting things we had a chance to look at in the chapter. I'll see you in the next lecture.